So the first time I actually performed in front of somebody that wasn't my family was hosting my first open mic.
Wow. Man, that rarely happened though. Like to host and that be your first time. Like so you kind of
I got
broke in, at the same time.
Yep.
You know, how was that night for you?
Yes. It was insane. I didn't realize that it took me a long time, like even till recently, to think that I was somebody to listen to.
Tap in with me.
Yo, we get that mic hot, then we let that mic drop. Yeah, mic drop. We get that mic hot, then we let that mic drop. Yeah, mic drop. Ooh.
Tap in with me.
Mic drop.
This is the Mic Drop with B. Anderson, and we are back again with another special guest. Actually, this is going to wrap up the first half of the season 2 of the Mic Drop with B. Anderson. So we're here with Makiah. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Glad to get you on. I've been seeing you doing a lot of great things. Really making waves in the poetry community. Been seeing you. You actually are just on the album that just released, Cleocourt's new album.
Yes, I am, respectfully.
Yeah, so we're going to get into all of that. But I really want to start off, like, how did you get into poetry?
That's actually kind of a crazy story. It's like, so I've always written poetry, like, my whole life, like, but it was more of, like, I never looked at it like, it was more of like just like an outlet. It was like I would just journal, and sometimes I would just write poems. It was just like where I would go to like make things that I didn't know how to make sense. And then like 2 years ago, my cousin passed away, and my mom was like, you have to write a poem for tea, because the only people that knew I could write was like my mom and like my teachers, but like that was it. And so she was like, you gotta write a poem for tea, like it's tea, you got to. And I was like, yeah, you right. So I wrote that poem, and then it was very serendipitous because I was bartending at the William Francis Theater part-time, and I had told my mom, I was like, I don't want to know, I don't want to help plan the services, I don't want nothing to do with it, just tell me where to be at. And so she sent me the address, and I was like, that looks familiar, but I couldn't place it. And then I pulled up to the theater, and that's where my cousin's services were.
Wow.
And so I walked in, and the owners are like, what are you doing here? There's no bar service today. And I'm like, this is my family.
Right.
And so we complete the services, I did my poem or whatever, and then at the end of the services, the owners of the William Francis Theater came up to me, and they're like, oh my God, like, we didn't know you could do poetry like that. And I'm like, I can't. It's not a thing. Like, it is not a thing. Like, it's just for, it's not real. And my mom and my brother was like, they were like, we need you to host. We've been trying to put together poetry to, stuff. And I was like, I don't know. And then my brother and my mom was like, you got to do it. Like, that was like T's gift to you, like leaving this world. And so the first time I actually performed in front of somebody that wasn't my family was hosting my first open mic.
Wow. Man, that rarely happened though. Like to host and that be your first time. Like so you kind of
I got
broke in, at the same time. You know, how was that night for you?
Yes. It was insane. I didn't realize that it took me a long time, like even till recently, to think that I was somebody to listen to.
Mm.
Like, I didn't think that, I was like, you know, but like I always, hosting was like natural to me. I always loved creating spaces for creatives. Like, so that was something that was easy. But like, when I tell you, like the whole thing Eminem said, the palms sweaty, the everything, like I was like, what am I gonna say?
Yes.
And
yes.
I was like, you know, I didn't know who was gonna show up. I was like, I don't know. But it was very fulfilling. It was nice. It was fun.
I think all of us, with our first time getting up there on that stage to actually do a poem, can relate to that Eminem line. Because, you know, I always tell people, I'm like, man, the first time it was at one of Mo Poetry's events, the first time I ever got on the stage, I'm like, my legs are shaking, my heart is pounding. I'm scared to death.
No,
and,
for real.
And feel like everybody could see the fear that you have, but everybody like, man, you did good. I'm like, you couldn't tell my legs were shaking.
No, for real. Like, I'd be like, oh my God, I was so nervous. And they'd be like, where? And I'm like, all over my body. Like, my entire body is nervous. Like, and they would just be like, what? You don't get nervous. I'm like, I'm literally up there like,
That's hilarious.
So it was crazy. It was beautiful though. It was beautiful.
So, and you said this is only like a few years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So, okay, I heard you for the first time last year at the Slam. So how did you go from, okay, I'm real nervous, this is my first time doing this, and then you turn it into the Slam poet?
Soul.
Really?
Soul did it.
Okay. He done helped a few people from.
Soul does. He just does that. Like he'll just say, I don't care what you talk about. I'm gonna just put you because they had actually conspired. So I have been doing my poetry, and like I was the kind of girl, like I literally had my notebook out, like reading from a notebook.
Yeah.
And Saul had actually pulled up to one of my open mics, and like we just became like such cool friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had went and like then I had met Mo and everything, and Saul was like, "You gonna do the Slam?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." And he was like, "You need to do it." And I was like, No, no, like I'm not gonna compete against nobody. And then him and this other girl like conspired against me and bought my slot in the Slam, and then he came up to me like, "So you're registered?"
Wow.
And I was like, "No." And then he was like, "Yes, so you have to do it now. Like we already put your name down."
And this was at the Regal Rhythm Slam?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And so that was the first time that I had slammed ever.
Wow.
And I got third place, which was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Z win that Slam?
No, it
Who won that
was
Slam?
they were from out of town. It was LB and Tracy Stay.
Oh, Stan. Okay.
Yeah.
T Spirit. Okay.
Yes, it was T Spirit and LB.
Wait, so this wasn't last year? It was the year before?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm jumping a year ahead. Okay.
Yeah, that was my very first slam ever.
Wow.
So that's when I started slamming.
Taking it more serious.
Yeah.
So, with you, kind of moving into the direction of slam, did you, after getting third place, is that when you, like, right away, like, start taking it more serious? Like, let me start entering these slams, or was it more gradual?
I think it was more, like, gradual. I was just, like, honestly, with poetry, I just kind of took them as it came. Like, I just kind of went with the flow. Like, I think, if I'm being honest, like, I don't think I actually started taking, like, my poetry, like, seriously until about a little under a year ago.
Okay.
Because it was just like everything was just kind of like happening. Like it just felt like it was just like I was just like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like what? Like, oh, I'm doing another one that's crazy. Like what? Like
yeah.
And it was insane, like to it was just like I took everything as a blessing and just like took in every opportunity. So it was just like kind of like when the opportunities would kind of be in front of me, I was just like, let's do it. Like it was just, it still is, but like when I first did, I was just so excited, and so it was so fun, like and seeing all of these different poets and like all of these people expressing themselves in different ways, and it helped my pen evolve because I'm like, whoa, you could do that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it was just kind of like a gradual of like taking it. And then it was like when people like I Am Every Artist and Nick Fury like came up to me and they're like, yo, like, you're dope. Like, you're dope. And these are like some of the dopest people I've ever seen. Like in my, you know what I'm saying? And then like they're like putting it in perspective to me, like, you competed for the first time and placed third against people who have been slamming for over a decade. Like, you're dope. And I was like, me? Like, me? What? And they're like, yes, you. And I was like, oh. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, it just, something about it just felt so God-given. So I felt like I had to pursue it.
Well, speaking of Nick and I Am Every Artist, that leads me into my next question. How did you decide, like, okay, I'm going to join the Deaf Poets Society?
Nick decided for me. It was
so
like,
it was like a soul situation where it's like, okay,
yeah,
you're gonna...
it was just kind of one of those things. Like, so Nick had went down to Southern Fried for the first time last year. Or like not this past Southern Fried.
Right, the year before, yeah.
And he had went a part of like somebody else's team.
Right.
And so then when he left there, he's like, I really want to come back, and I want to come back with my own team from my own city. And so when we started like, you know, connecting and building a friendship, he was like, oh, like, I'm starting this thing called Deaf Poets Society. You gotta be in it. I'm like, that sounds dope.
Yeah.
I just like the way that sounds.
Yeah.
Like, Deaf Poets Society.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like some old, like, library book gonna open a wall type shit, like, type stuff. And so I just was like, you know what? That just sound like fun. Like, I don't even care what we doing. Like, I didn't even think about it as a slam team at first. It was just like, being a part of something that's bigger than me just sounded so fun and so dope. And I didn't even know, like, that was the first time I knew, like, they even had, like, slam teams.
Yeah,
and, like,
I didn't know either. So.
And stuff like that. So that was just really cool. And then I started, like, sharing my visions and stuff with him. And then we found out that we were on the same accord for a lot of things. And then we're like, nah, let's really do this.
So what... to you was the biggest difference between, you know, slamming by yourself and then slamming as a part of a team?
I'd say growth, because the way that I've grown as a performer, when you have some people that are behind you that you know just genuinely want to see you do better, like, or do the best that you can, not even necessarily better, but just the best that you can. Like, I remember going up to I Am Every Artist, and I didn't even know him, and I had just seen him perform, like, twice, and I was like, you're my mentor. I was like, I need to learn. I didn't even know you could embody words like that.
Right.
And stuff like that. So I'd say, like, when you're slamming by yourself, it's, like, really easy to be self-critical and be like, oh, shoot. But you don't really know what you did wrong or what to improve on, whereas now it's like having that support system of like, bro, can I send you this piece real quick?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That collaborative effort of like growing, or like Nick will send me some of his pieces and be like, yo, what you think? Like, you know what I mean? And being able to grow together as artists is something that's just more fulfilling than doing it on your own.
You know, I really was able to see, especially with the So Fried, because from my perspective, that's when I seen you truly grow. Because the first time I saw you, it was around a year ago at Doo-Wop Cincinnati Poetry Slam.
That I had the all black on.
Yes, and you had the hat and all that.
Yeah,
so
that's my swag.
Okay, yeah. That was the first time I saw you. And so I'm like, oh, you know, she cool, she dope. But then, you know, as time went on, I seen you in Nostalgia, you know, seeing you, you post different videos doing your thing. But it was something about that Soul Friday, and I even hit you up and said something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can see I Am Every Artist in your poetry. I can see it because he's real eccentric with, you know, his poetry and the way he do things. He real animated.
Yes.
And that is when I seen you do that. And I'm like, man, this is a whole different, I had to look like this. Like, because usually when I would hear you at slams and open mics, you know, it's like, you more reserved, like you more calm, but it's like I'm hearing you and it was the passion behind it for me, and I was just like, oh my God, like, man, if you come with that passion, man, you gonna be slaughtering people. So I could tell where the mentorship from I Am Every Artist really helped you, especially there. And that was your first experience, and I remember you making a post about this. How did you feel when you first were made aware that you were ranked?
That was crazy.
I saw that. I'm like, wow.
That was nutso. Like, that was nutso. Like, because one thing about SoFri is the energy down there is unmatched. Mm-hmm. It's so fun. You see so many different artists doing so many different things. The team slang, like the people who have like collective group pieces, crazy.
Yeah.
The energy is so crazy. You just wanna you just wanna bring something new out of you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just excited to be there. Like, literally, I was just like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, what? There's like workshops and stuff, and I was just like so excited. And it was like because I didn't even think about it. Like, I was thinking like it would be like us ranked as a team. So like the whole weekend that we were down there, that's what I was focused on, was like the team rating. And like I was like, you know, what we're contributing as a whole. And when they released, like, I'm literally getting goosebumps, when they released the ranking and I was ranked number 19 in the country,
that's crazy.
On my first Soul Friday, I was literally speechless. That's still crazy to me to say. Like, that's still crazy for me to say. Like, what? That's crazy. Against, like, literally so many amazing poets.
Yeah.
Like, so many poets. And then it's like, but it's like, it's so much easier, I feel like, to look at, like, other people and see their gifts and their talents and stuff like that. And then it's like, okay, but, like, you're dope, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just, like, that was something that was, like, yo, I really might have, like, seeing that, I was like, yo, I really might have to do something with this. Like, I might really be a poet or something.
Man, I'm telling you, I was just so impressed. It's certain poets that I hear, and it just make me want to gravitate towards their work just because I'm seeing the passion, and they just got that it factor. Yeah. And like I said, when I seen the videos that you were posting, I was just like, wow, like, okay, I'm a fan. Like, I'm like, I need more of this. Like, I need more. So
SoFri definitely unleashed a monster in me. Like, it was just like I had to. Like, it was so surreal. It was so surreal.
I mean, what better stage?
You know?
What better stage than all of these people are gathered in one space? This is like a national, type of event. So, outside of SoFri, what would you say so far in your young poetry journey has been your favorite place to slam?
My favorite place. Probably the slam I did in Las Vegas. And that's because, like, the setup was so dope. Like, it was like we was outside in this, like, business park.
Okay.
And so it was just, like, all of these, like, chairs and stuff like that. And it was a slam, but it was like a creative slam. So I was going not only against poets, but musicians.
Wow. People
doing music and shit like that, stuff like that. I apologize.
No, you good.
And so it was like the stage was actually like just like a set of stairs.
Wow.
So you went and you stood on the steps, and that's how you performed. And I had just never seen anything like that before. Like, I thought that was crazy. Also, I had never seen a slam where, like, it was musicians.
Yeah. Like, that's something like musicians against. Now, I know at the beginning of this year, I want to say there was like some type of music slam because I think Doo-Wop hosted it or something like that. But I heard of it, you know, it was a music slam, but I've never seen musicians going against poets.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be the thing until I heard the first person go up and do like a song. And I was like,
I gotta go against
is it separate? I was like, is it going to be two separate?
Right.
Ones? And then like through the grace of God, I literally placed first in that one.
For real?
Yeah, that was my first place slam, was out in Las Vegas. It was by this guy named True Speaks.
Okay.
And I just found it on a Humble. I was really looking for an open mic, and because like I was like, let me find an open mic out while I'm out. I'm literally going to Las Vegas with my family.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let me see if there's any open mics out there. Like that'd be fun to hear some Las Vegas poetry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd asked Soul. I was like, hey, do you know anybody in Las Vegas? Like, do you know? Because I was like searching on Instagram. I couldn't really find any flyers or anything. And I was like, do you know anybody like that would know where an open mic is? And he was like, he had told me to reach out to Obi West.
Okay.
And so I reached out to Obi and I was like, hey, I'm going to Las Vegas during these dates. Do you know? And he sent me the flyer for that slam, and the registration was free. So I was like, shoot, why not?
Right.
Like, I might as well. What I got to lose?
Is there footage of that? I haven't seen that.
I might have it in my phone. I'm getting better about posting.
Yeah.
I probably have it in my phone somewhere.
You got to put that up, because
Yeah.
I was gonna say I haven't seen that, because I will remember some steps and all that. I remember that. So.
Yeah, I just started getting better at posting this year. I suck at social media, but we're working on it.
It's gonna help you grow. Like
Right.
it really is, because you're already on the right path. For you to only be doing this for 2 years,
That's
like
crazy.
It is. You talked about how Soul got you started, and then how the Deaf Poet Society has kind of helped you elevate.
Yeah.
Who else that you haven't named has played, like, and I'm speaking as far as the poetry community,
Mm-hmm.
who else has played a huge role in you being able to be the creative that you are?
I would say definitely Mo.
Okay.
Mo has put me on some stages.
Mm.
Mo, and like she just always, I mean, she does this for everybody. She speaks life into everybody. And just knowing her genuine support of just like loving everything that I do is just so beautiful. And she inspires me to like, because the way that she just gives back to the community, and she uses her poetry to do things outside of poetry. And so like that was really inspirational to me. I would say like all of the poets that I'm really around, like they just, hearing other people speak, like it just inspires me so much. Like, because it's like, dang, like I wouldn't have thought to do it like that, or
Yeah.
I could do that like this, like, or something like that. So it's like, definitely Mo has given me so many opportunities. Like I just performed at the Juneteenth Festival down at Eden Park.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was my first time performing in front of a live band. That was amazing.
Wow.
It was so fun. I loved it so much. Like, so that was so much fun. I'm trying to think of who else is really like just like man, the poetry thing outside of like Soul and I Am Every Artist and
Yeah, because Mo helped me get my start.
yeah,
Like, I mean,
sounds about right.
That's what I was saying. Like, literally, I saw her passing out flyers for the first Black Book Fair at Longhorn. It was this time last year,
wow.
no, this time in 2021. So yeah, it was a couple of years ago. It was like 2 years ago, and so it had to be like probably a couple months after you did that slam.
Yeah.
And so I seen her. I was there for my niece's birthday party because her birthday was yesterday. And so I knew it was around this time. And so she's passing out flyers. And I had saw the flyer earlier in the day on Facebook. Somebody had shared it with me. But at that point, I'm like, I ain't getting on those stages. Like, I'm too nervous. I ain't doing that. Like, I'd just be the writer. I ain't getting up there. And I seen her. I'm like, I seen this earlier. And so, you know, she's like, well, you could call or text this number. This is my number. You know, call or text me if you have any questions. Because I had a book out, but I wasn't pushing it. I was scared. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so I ended up texting her. I'm like, you know, what you doing is dope. Like, you know, it's been since the 90s since I done seen somebody out here really grinding, passing out flyers and stuff. Like, I'm like, that's dope. So, and she was like, well, you know, we having this Taco Tuesday on a Saturday event, and you should come through.
Yeah.
And I ended up coming, and that's when I was so scared to get up there. Yeah. My legs were shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh. But the reason why I got up there is because I was like, you know what? I don't know how to get on the sign up list, but I know if I leave here and I don't get up there, I'm gonna regret it. Yeah. I'm gonna be like, man, I'm gonna be regretting it the whole time. Like, man, I should have got up there. So I did it, and I mean, it was like the worst, best experience ever. So
relatable.
Yeah. So, you know, she definitely played a role in that, and a role in me starting to interview artists. So so that's kind of how I got my start. So when you say that, I'm like, yeah, I feel you. Yeah. So, and she'll be on in the second half of season 2. So
I love that. Somebody needs to talk to them because she does so much. She does so much for the city and the community. It's beautiful. I'm like, girl, when do you sleep?
So, at this point in your creative journey, what would you say is the source of your pen?
I would say just like life. It still changes like with things, but I feel like I just write things that I experience or things that I feel like people need to talk about or hear, or I'm not hearing enough of. Like, and that's one thing that I learned that I saw through like witnessing poets like Brave Nate.
Yeah.
Who he like when I first started writing poetry, like I said, it was an outlet for me. So a lot of my poetry was like not necessarily like sad, but somber.
Yeah.
You know, like very much like life lessons, healing, and self-reflection and things like that. And through hearing poets like Nate and stuff like that, like seeing that they just write about everyday life experiences that they had, you know what I'm saying? Just things that they see or something like that. It was really cool to me. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't have to wait until some like big life event happens in my life for me to write. I could just write because I seen a flower on the tree. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? And so now lately I've just been writing things that inspire me or invoke anything in me versus like focusing on specific messages.
That's dope. How do you deal with writer's block? I mean, as writers, we all go through it. We all go through times where we not feeling as inspired, or we feel like we can't get anything, and then sometimes our pen is on fire. So how do you deal with writer's block?
I would normally I just take that as a like, because like I genuinely say that my pen is God given. I have no control over it. Okay, it's not me for real. Like, it's God speaking through me. So with that, it's like if I can't write something, or I'm stuck, or I'm blocked, or I can't finish something, I just take that as like it's time for me to reconnect. I need to meditate more. I need to go do something that fills my cup more and just get back into a creative headspace in that way. Because like that blockage, I feel like comes from like a blockage somewhere else in my life, like specifically speaking about me. Like I feel like when I have writer's block, it's because something else is blocked. So it's like I normally take that opportunity to just like go lay in some grass or take a walk down Finley Market or, you know, something like that.
Okay, you know, and that's definitely a positive way of thinking about it, because on that walk you can become inspired. You never really know,
right. So listening to music, because like music has always been a big part of my life. So I just be listening. You know what I'm saying? See where the vibe takes me. That's when I can't write. That's my cue to like let go and let God.
So you mentioned music. And we all have playlists. So with your playlist, who I how you name 3? Who's like 3 of like the main artists in your playlist?
It depends on the playlist. But like if we talking about just like people that
like,
I'm going to listen to every single day without fail, it would probably be J. Cole.
Okay.
Probably Frank Ocean. And who's my third? Probably Whitney.
Okay.
Probably Whitney.
With J. Cole, I can see a little bit, because some of his songs and subject matters, I can see some of that in your poetry, just from the directions that you go in sometimes.
I am a stan. I have literally been to see that man perform every single time he has come to the city. I love J. Cole. He could do no wrong.
From the perspective of poetry, and we speaking on poets here, because I try to ask people about this, because Cincinnati is so dope, you know, just with the artistry and all of that stuff. Who are 2 other artists, as far as poetry goes, that you would like to collab on, you know, a piece with, outside of your spoken word team that you're already on?
Definitely Zeta Stu. Her, oh my gosh, her voice, her presence is so powerful. Like she is so big. Like in like her energy, like she's just so like, she gets on that stage and you cannot help but to look at her. And I feel like her and I could say some stuff. Okay, I do. I'm like,
especially if you come in how you did it so fried.
You know, like I wouldn't have no choice. I wouldn't have no choice.
Yeah, because the way she come with that energy, it's like, oh yeah, you gotta match it. So,
my gosh, like she is like everybody's auntie at the cookout, like for real. I'm like,
I can see that.
You gotta listen to Auntie Z, okay? It would definitely be Zeta. And outside of my camp.
Yeah, gotta be outside the camp.
Let me see. Who else is just like, yo, we could talk some shit. I'm trying to think. Who else? I think just because of like contrast, I think a collaboration with either Brave Nate or Violetta. Because me and Violetta, we have the same type of passion.
Yeah.
And like she sings so much. And she has so much to say. And so I think like the calamity of her voice and like the sternness of my voice would create a beautiful sonic picture.
That's dope. I heard her spit for the first time when we was all at Nostalgia that night.
She gave me my first feature.
Wow. I remember that. I actually remember that because she was asked to meet a feature and I was like, oh, I'll be busy. So
she gave me my first feature on her book, on her, not her latest book because she got a new one out now, but she did a book and she was like, I want you to feature. And I'm like,
because that was like the end of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like interviewing people for their new releases and stuff like that. Yep. And so she had asked me and I'm like, oh, I ain't going to be able to. And she was like, you know, I'm going to catch you for the next one. So that's dope. I actually remember that because when she had first approached me about it, I'm like, you know, that's the dope thing about artistry. You can make up your own stuff. You know, you can do your own thing. You don't have, it's not a uniform type of thing. So, and I would love to see the Brave Nate collab. That'd be crazy.
That would just be cool. Like, that'd be cool. Like, I could see us arguing. You know what I'm saying? Like, not really arguing in real life.
No, I know
like,
what you mean.
Yeah,
poetically,
like, like, I could see us going back and he'd be like, man, like, I could just hear it. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be comedic for sure. Because I always tell him, I'm like, man, you a comedic poet. You need to step into that. Because you be having us rolling, man.
No, for real, getting weak. I ain't never got weak at a poem before. Like, I remember the first time I heard that 5 Finger Freddy, I was crying. I was crying. I was like, bruh, shut up.
Yes. Yeah, when he was episode 2 of this season, so we definitely, dove into that.
We got a Nike Adidas beef going on.
Man, it's like you read my mind because I'm sitting up here, I'm looking at your feet. It look like you got like some Jordan 1s.
I got some ones.
Listen, I can spot a pair of Jordans a mile away. Listen, I could be visually impaired and all, but I can spot a pair of Jordans from a mile away. So, you know, he actually told me because he was like, you know, Makiah, she be into the sneakers too. Like, I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
And so that's when I started looking at some of the stuff you was posting. I'm like, let me see what's on your feet. So, because I think I hit you up and asked you. I'm like, you know, Nate told me.
I said, can't stand him.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
I'm like, oh, snap. Okay. So, speaking of, because, man, listen, my shoe fetish crazy too. So, this is a question that I get asked when people they see me, especially at work. I always got on a different pair of shoes. So for you, I'm gonna ask you the number one question people ask me. They always asking, how many pair of shoes you got? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, so.
I actually know only because my boyfriend was telling me how I have such a crazy amount of shoes. And he was like, how many shoes do you have? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, who just sits and like counts their shoes?
Right, I
like,
know.
That's weird. Like, and then he was just like, he was like, I have like 16 pair of shoes. I was like, that seems like a low number.
Right,
like,
right.
And so I was like, well, now I don't know. And so I did go through and count all of my shoes. I have 176 pair of shoes. Okay.
Hey, listen, I need to count. Now you got me wanting to count mine.
It's intriguing.
Yeah.
It's intriguing because I didn't think it was that many. Like, I was like, I ain't got that many pair of shoes. Like, I'm like, I got a decent collection. I ain't got a crazy amount of shoes.
Right.
Like, but then when I said 176 out loud, I was like, that's a lot of shoes. But I am a girl, though. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got heels and sneakers and flats.
Right.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? My collection is automatically doubled.
I need to, like I said, you got me wanting to count.
You should do it. When you go home.
I got 2 clousets full of sneakers. Yeah, so I got all Jordans in one closet. I got all Nikes in another closet. Up on the shelf, I got the dressier shoes. Then over on the side, I got my boots.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't really know. I'm like, I'm going to have to find out, like, how many
You'll be surprised.
Pairs.
Like, it surprised me. I was like, ain't no way I got, like, a ton of shoes. It ain't that much, bro. You tweaking.
I be too lazy, though, to pull out boxes, because I got boxes behind boxes. So I'm
that's why I was annoyed, because it's like, I'm like you. Like, I got 2 closets. One is all, like, sneakers and, like, on the shelves and everything. Then one is heels, sandals, and all of that. And then under my bed is all my boots and all my booties and stuff like that. And then my little beaters is on the basement step.
So what shoes are you wearing to the slam? Are you normally rocking sneakers? You know, you rocking.
Gotta be comfy.
Okay.
Gotta be cozy. You'll never.
You might be up there for 3 rounds.
Right.
You know?
You ain't. And also, it's just like because I get so nervous, I have to be comfortable. Cause I can't be nervous and like trying to like
on heels.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, nah. Like that's where it was like, it was funny because the first time Nate see me in Adidas, he didn't know that I owned Adidas because I always slam in Nike, and that wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
I just like my ones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They cozy. I like them. Like, they just cool. So it was like, he seen me slam. We went and slammed the Ashley Mack slam, and I wore some Adidas, and he like, what you got Adidas on for? And then that birthed our beef.
Did you place in Galaxy Slam?
Yep, I got second.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. Cause she had asked me to come up there and cover, and I'm like, oh man. I'm like, I gotta clear myself.
That was so fun. Okay. First of all, I love Galaxy.
Yeah.
In general, make sure you get her book. Everybody get her book.
Yes. Shout out to Galaxy.
Because
She'll be out next month.
I love her.
Yeah.
Okay, I love her energy. Yes. I love her delivery. I love everything about her. She is so beautiful as a spirit. So when she had a slam, I was like, what?
She gonna be my first out of state guest.
That's dope.
Yeah, she coming on next month. when she come down for Doo-Wop's
Nice.
Slam next month in September. So yeah, she gonna be on then. So I'm
Nice.
looking forward to that. Like that's gonna be fire because when the first Slam I covered, that was her first out of state Slam, and she came through, and she was the first person I talked to,
Dope.
and so I was like, man, that's fire. So
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
you know, I was like, yeah, you got to be my first out of state guest.
We
So
love Galaxy.
last shoe question:
Okay.
what's your favorite sneaker?
See, no, like,
I know that's an unfair question to
that's
ask.
so rude. Like, that's so rude to you. I was having such a good time, B. But, my favorite sneaker,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is just a bee's knees every time.
There's so many, so.
Yes, because, and there's so many for, like, different reasons. So it's like.
Okay, so. Your favorite Nike, Jordan excluded.
Okay, Jordan excluded.
Yes.
The Air Max 95.
Okay.
That's my thing. And they just started coming out with some crazy colorways.
I struggle though between the 95 and 97. I struggle
97
between my
is
favorites.
so dope.
Yeah,
But
I
like the
struggle.
95s is what made me fall in love with Nike. So I gotta say 95s. Like that's my favorite Nike outside of Jordan. My favorite Jordan for a long time, it was the 3s. But now I love ones. I think I love ones because I fell in love with SBs. Actually, I'm taking that back. My favorite Nike is a SB.
Okay.
It's a SB.
Okay.
I love it. A Dunk. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. I remember when I found out they made them in my size because I got tiny feet. So I never owned any SBs because I'm like, they don't make them in my size. And then I went down to Unheard Of and they had the cracked salts in my size. I said,
man.
Oh yeah.
My girl to do my hair, man, she loved Dunks, and she like, you ain't got no Dunks. I'm like, no. She's like, quit sleeping on Dunks.
No,
so.
Dunks are dope.
Yeah.
They're dope. Yeah, I take
See, they always reminded me of ones, Jordan ones. So I just
SBs
never copped like so.
But they colorways is different. The tongue is wider.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not so flat. Like you get more shoes. It's so like it's dope. I fuck with SBs. I fuck with Dunks. I fuck with the low top SBs too.
I be seeing them. So
it would definitely be SBs. My favorite Jordan is ones, and I think it's because I started falling in love with Dunks for so, and I was like, because I used to love 3s. They just look so good on my feet.
Okay.
Like, so that's my favorite Jordan. My favorite Adidas is probably the Oswegos.
Okay. So I need to get more hits to Adidas.
I didn't even know.
I'm a Nike fan.
I just got into Adidas probably like last year.
Okay.
Like I didn't know that they had things besides like shell toes and like Ultra Boost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They got some crazy shoes. Like they forums is crazy. Like they got some shit. They got some fire. They got some heat.
Okay. Yeah.
They got some heat. The Oswegos. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up a picture. I'm gonna show you. The Oswegos is dope. The Oswegos are so cool and like they're so comfortable.
Man, you gonna make me go pick up a pair?
No, for real. I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. No, you can't have my location. But. Pulling up. That's the Oswegos.
Oh yeah.
They
Okay.
They
And then you talking about the comfort. Okay.
They comfortable as all get out.
Okay.
And they starting to do like some crazy colorways. Like, look at that with the blue sole.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have
That's
to.
nuts.
I'm gonna have to tap in with that because, like I said, I'm a Nike Jordan all day.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to tap in. Nate gonna be happy. So
he be beefing because he be wearing. See, we go back and forth because I slam in Nike.
Yeah.
He slam in Adidas, but then he be wearing Nikes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how you just gonna wear Nikes?
I be messing with him. I'm like, bro,
you
come on over to the other side, bro.
How you just gonna wear a full Nike fit like you Nike though?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So. Yeah. Hey, we could do a whole interview about shoes, man. I'm telling you.
Dead ass.
So I remember when I first asked you to come on. You talked about how normally you are sitting in my chair and
Yeah.
you're doing the interviewing. So, talk a bit about that. Like, when did you, interview people? What were you doing that on?
It was the YouTube. I was one of the first YouTube shows to come to Cincinnati.
Really?
I went to school for journalism.
Okay.
Because I just knew I was a journalist.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to do music journalism, and while I was finishing my degree, I was just happened to be around, like, it just so happened that a lot of my friends were rappers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my friends were dope rappers at that. And at the time, this was probably like 2011, maybe 9 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, the only like platform you could really go and like talk about your music and stuff like that was the Wiz. And this is before like Nelly D really took over, so they wasn't really caring about, like, you know what I'm saying, local creation.
Yeah.
Like, so if you didn't get on the Wiz, like, you really didn't have nowhere to express yourself or like talk about it. And so I was like, man, all of my friends was like, bro, like, I just want to, get my music out there and like talk about my music, like. And I was like, I do it. Like, and so I made a show. It was, at first it had so many names. It started off as Minutes with Malan, then it was like something else, then it ended up becoming New Flavor. And like, but so I had an interview show. That's how I met a lot of local creators in the city. And then it just kept evolving and getting better and getting more fun, and I had games. It was good. But so it was like, when you had asked to interview me, it was just like I still, like, it's still weird to me that like I'm somebody to talk to. Like, that's still crazy to me. Like, cause I always like would say, like, I'm not meant to be in the spotlight. I'm good at putting people in their spotlight. Yeah. Like, I'm really good at that, and like making it like comfortable for people and stuff like that. And so it was like I had done that for about little under 10 years of just like
before
interviewing.
You was an artist.
Yeah.
I
know it's so weird to call me an artist. It's just crazy. Such a blessing, but it's crazy. But yeah, I had interviewed so many local artists. I interviewed Banks, I interviewed Nico, I interviewed, I'm trying to think, Kenny Wayne, Royal Curry, just Fame, like, so, like, all of them, like, literally all of them. And I started a review show where I would review local music, and there was categories.
That's dope.
It was fun. It was a vibe. It was an era. It was an era for sure. It was an era for sure.
What made you stop?
I had took a break. Like, it was just crazy. Like, I had taken a break because I had started like just doing a bunch of live stuff. I knew I wanted to revamp and get like, I wanted to figure out how to not just be a Cincinnati show, but an underground show.
Okay.
Like, because like my thing is like, if you was watching my show, either it was because you were from Cincinnati, you fuck with me, you fuck with the artist. But if you wasn't really checking for local Cincinnati artists, like outside of Cincinnati, you was not gonna view my show. That's why I started like reviewing projects and stuff like that, trying to, funnel more things. So I had taken a break, and then, life starts life in. So then I'm just living life and stuff like that. And then I became a poet.
And that's been kept you busy,
very
yourself. So
very.
You like we talked about at the beginning, you were just featured on Respectfully, Cleo Court's new album.
Shout out Cleo Court.
Was that your first time being in like a recording booth? Because I remember seeing the footage, the video footage, when y'all were in the studio.
Yeah.
Was that your first time in the studio?
Not like in the studio. I used to be like, as far as like, that was my first time like recording myself.
Yeah.
Like, so I used to be in studios all the time. Like, just like in a sense, like artists would have me come to the studio and help them tweak their track and put their track together, because I do have a really good ear.
Okay.
And so I was doing that for a lot of artists, and then But that was my first time like being on the mic in the studio. So that was crazy.
What was that experience like for you? Like, because anybody who's been in the studio, it's completely different from just being up there on that stage, because you want to make sure that you get it perfect and, you know, it sounds the way you want it to sound. So what was that time like being in the studio, especially with Cleo Court, who was relentless? Like,
beautiful.
you know, she is a workhorse when it comes to, you know, this music stuff. She take it very serious. So what was it like being in the studio with her?
It was actually beautiful. It was actually no pressure at all. It was like, she had such a good collection of people. It was me, Justine, Zeta, and Ant. It was the engineer of the studio session. Yeah. And so it was all of us. Like, I had sat and kind of, like, literally I had wrote the piece that's on the track in the studio. Yeah, yeah. And so, like, that was a crazy experience of, like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just, like, fun. It was just a vibe. Like, it was just a vibe. Like, Cleo Court definitely made everybody feel so comfortable. And, like, she's, like, you know, she's hyping everybody up. Like, I chose y'all for a reason. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was just so excited. And then it was just so inspiring. Like, to literally just watch her, like, sit there and then just belt out these notes as if she's not even belting out these notes. Yeah. Like, just crazy. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
You know, it's interesting. When I look at Cleo Court, I really see her as being, especially a future pioneer, like a Mo Poetry, like a doo-wop, who is putting people on, giving them opportunities, putting them in great positions to be great, and for them to use their craft, their strengths to the best of their ability. And so when I see her giving opportunities like that to, you know, how you come in, write your piece, spit it on the album, and then it's out there for anybody to hear.
Crazy.
Dope. Like, so, and shout out to Cleo Court.
Shout out to Cleo Court.
She was just on. Yeah, she was just, her interview just dropped the other day. Make sure y'all check out that interview.
Go do it right now.
Go to cleocourt.com.
Purchase respectfully.
Grab that album. It's dope.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Buy the merch.
Yeah.
Buy the album.
Yes.
Go see her perform. Yeah. Do it all.
Yeah.
Support her. She is
so
Black phenomenal.
Artists. Yes.
She's so phenomenal. She's so amazing. I love to see her.
Yeah, it's just amazing, like, throughout this interview, just hearing about all of the different people who have played a role in you being the creative that you are. Like, it's so dope, you know, just to hear all of these building blocks, you know, just coming into place. So my next question is, when are you going to get in the studio and record your album?
So I am... Oh my gosh, I'm about to drop some stuff. I am working on a project of putting a project together, because I think it would just be fun. But I'm going to wait until about next year. Okay. I probably will record a little later this year, but it's gonna come.
Can we ever expect a book from you?
Everyone keeps saying that. They're like, you need to write a book. But, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like everything that's happening in my creative journey has so far been very effortless. Like, I'm not saying I don't put effort into my pen or my writing, but as far as the opportunities that I have and stuff like that, it's been very effortless, which makes me feel like I'm walking on an aligned path. Yeah. So if a book aligns with my path, then absolutely. But I'm not thinking about that right now. I've only been doing poetry for 2 years. I still have so much to learn and absorb and embrace before I try to sit down and put something like that together.
Hey, all I'm going to say when it comes to that is that book, those musical projects are going to live way beyond you. It's going to be people long after you gone that's gonna pick up your book, that's gonna listen to your, I mean, you think about it, it's still people that's listening to, like, Nat King Cole, and he been gone for a long time. Like, it's still people that's reading Shakespeare, he been gone for a long time. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's just something to consider. But what I always tell people, just make sure your heart is in it. Like, people was telling me to write books when I was 18, 19 years old, and I didn't drop my first book until I was, this is sad that I can't remember, I think I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a long time. You got to do it when you are ready. But I definitely encourage you to not forget about it. Make sure you're storing your poems in a safe space, because when it comes time for that book,
that is something I need to do.
Yeah, you writing poetry all the time, so you're writing the book already.
Kind of stuff.
You know, you're already writing it. Now, you may have a certain theme that you may want to when you finally come out with your book, but just make sure you always storing those poems somewhere, so when it come time to have that collection to put out there, boom, you got it. Like, I just seen Demontre, who be with Mo Poetry, he just, dropped his book, know, so, I always like to see credit, especially coming out of Cincinnati. I feel like it's more authors that's doing a thing now than it's ever been before. Like, I see so many people.
Absolutely.
Because you can self-publish. You don't need a big-time publisher anymore. Like, you can do your own thing.
Accessible.
Yeah. So, it is a lot of work, but
it's
you can
fun.
do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I have some things, but it's just right now, that's just not in the forefront in my brain. It's in the back. It's in there.
I feel you.
Because everybody keeps saying that. You need a book.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you will get to it at some point, and when you do, I'm going to have it sitting right up here.
Yay!
So, it's going to be sitting right up here.
I want to be next to Doo-Wop.
Okay, yeah, I got you. So, because, when Doo-Wop dropped hers, I said, that's dope. She got another one coming. When Laura Wise dropped hers, I was like, that's dope.
I love Laura Wise's book cover.
Yes, me too.
Her cover is so cute.
Doo-Wop has something to do with that.
Yeah,
so,
I do know that.
Yeah, that's dope. So, anyways, at the beginning, you talked about bartending. So, what's your favorite drink to make? Like, what
make?
Yes, like, what's your favorite drink that to make that everybody go crazy on? Like, man, make that. You need to make this all the time. So.
It's not like a favorite drink, but I had this specialty that I picked up when I was in mixology school. Of like, I'm really good because like I was a chemistry nerd, and that's all mixology is. It's just chemistry. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily a favorite drink, but what I love to do is like when people, like if you come up to the bar and you like, I don't know what I want, I'll be like, do you trust me? And it's really fun for me to freestyle a cocktail just right on the, like I just make it up right in the spot. I'll just be like light or dark, and then they'll answer that question. I'll be like sweet or sour, and they'll answer that question, and then I'll just make something. And that's probably my favorite thing to do because I love blowing people's minds. Because like they're like what, but like one of the things that I love doing is like I'm a Kentucky girl, so of course I love bourbon.
Okay.
So what I love doing is like taking like bourbon and creating cocktails. Like I did, I crafted a cocktail for the Goodfellas downtown for their summer menu called the Black of the Berry. And it's so fun because everybody thinks that like bourbon is boring or like it has to be like an old fashioned or Manhattan, which those are good and they're good classic cocktails. But bourbon has so many flavor notes that you're not pulling at and stuff like that. So I think outside of more making like a specialty cocktail, I like everybody to have their own specialty cocktail.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, I'm a definitely have to try that out. I ain't know that, I was just doing a little digging on your page, seeing bartender, like, hold on, like, what you over there making? So,
a little bit of everything.
Okay. So, I know some of the things that you got coming next, but why don't you tell the people, what's coming next?
Well, technically this drops, so today is my birthday.
Yeah.
So,
happy birthday to you.
Thank you. So I'm officially 30, which means I'm actually grown now. So I'm so excited. Immediately right now, I'm working a lot with Deaf Poet Society. We're doing a lot of good things. I have a workshop coming out this spring for the youth that's going to be held at the Harriet Beecher Stowe House. That I'm really excited for, because I think that the youth need more rec. You know what I'm saying? Like, outside of the things that Do Up graciously does, like, if they want to, like, there's no open mics that are, you know, youth friendly. They're all at bars, or they're all very, very late. Which it's like, your parent is not going to let you go out at 9 p.m. on a school night. You know what I'm saying? So really wanting to just touch the youth in that way. We're also working on creating our very first slam series. Like on the 30th, we're going to be shooting our first promo slam, and then we're gonna hopefully start our slam season next year, and that should be a lot of fun.
So I seen Nick talking about that. Elaborate on that a little bit more with this thing that y'all got coming with this slam series that y'all gonna be recording. Talk about that a little bit, if you can.
What I'll say is, like, we just want to bring a fun spin on slams. You know, slams are very, like, people, especially artists themselves, they can get so serious and so in their head, and so we want to make it fun, but also, you know, still be a competition, and also hopefully, like, shed more light on each artist and give people more of a platform. So we're working on that, and those are definitely two of the biggest things that I think that are under our belt that are coming out right now.
Okay. Do you have any other slams you got coming up you're gonna be competing in?
I'm not booked at All for September yet, unless I'm forgetting something, which if I am. I'm doing Lockfest on September 12th.
Okay.
Which is beautiful. It's a yearly festival, and it's like amazing if you've never been. It's all these black people doing black things and like sharing their creations, and they have this fashion show where they take locks and do insane things with them.
I need to be there.
So it's so much fun. So I'll be performing. This will be my second time performing at Lockfest. Okay. So I'll be performing at Lockfest September 12th, I believe it is the date. And I think that's the only thing. I might do Doo-Wop Slam again. I don't know though. I don't know. I've been kind of slammed out recently. I've been slamming so much, like it was just like slam after slam after slam after slam after slam. I'm just like, kind of want to take like more of a creation break. Okay. So we'll see, but like also I can't tell nobody no. So.
Well, and anytime I would say this, like when you do feel like you need a break, especially because you so early on in this, I experienced this last year with the whole burnout thing and trying to always say yes. Always trying to say yes. When you feel like you need to take that break, hey, take a few days. Yeah. You know, take a week, take a couple weeks, you know, just to allow yourself to reload, refresh, and that way you can come back rejuvenated and you don't experience that burnout.
Yeah, like that sounds like, you know what, like I may do it, we'll see how my energy feels. Yeah. But for the most part, the only thing I can really think of in September that I know for a fact that I'm doing, I'm also doing, is that in September? It might be in September. I'm doing, I'm going to be performing in front of the Underground Railroad Center doing an awareness project that Mo's putting together.
Dope.
I believe it's in September. Don't remember. I have so many dates.
Okay.
But I believe it's in September. I actually want to say for a fact that it's in September. I want to look, but I don't want to take the time to look, so I won't.
Well.
But yes.
But with that being said, even though you may not know the exact date, why don't you let people know where you are on social media so they can stay locked in?
Okay. So you can follow me on Instagram at allthingskaya_. Kaya is KIAH. And then on Facebook, I am Makiah Malan, which is my name. Yeah. So I post all my stuff on there, so you'll see me there.
Yeah, definitely. Y'all definitely make sure that y'all are tapping in with Makiah. You don't want to miss what she got going on, especially with this Deaf Poet Society thing. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, we got things. We got ideas, so yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So, this is the part of the show that I think that you would like.
Okay.
Because I'm going to kind of switch roles and let you ask me a question. So you can ask me any question under the sun, you can ask. So yeah, we're gonna switch roles.
Okay. What made you start covering slams? Like, what made you want to start being like the outlet for that?
Well, actually, Doo-Wop gave me the opportunity. She actually saw me recording. It was actually on her birthday in December. We were at Mo Poetry's event, and it was Doo-Wop's birthday, and she was my first artist interview. Actually, I did it at the Hit the Mic Cincy at that show. And so I recorded her that night. And so when I sent it to her, she was like, man, hey, I like what you're doing. I like your quality of work. Would you like to come cover a slam? And I'm like, I don't know how to cover a slam. Like, what am I supposed to do? So she like, we could talk about it. You can, make sure you record this and make sure you're taking pictures of that and make sure you do it. And the first slam, I was beyond nervous, and like I said, that's where I met Galaxy for the first time. She was my first interview at the slam. Yeah. I talked to her at the intermission, but I had no idea what I was doing. And when we first got there, I've talked to Doo-Wop about this since. And when I agreed to do it and we get there, I'm like, man, what did I get myself into? I don't know what I'm doing. And so, but as the slams have went on, I feel like I've grown. I figured out okay, this is her expectation of me. This is what I do. And so I really learned how to step into the role. But it was not something, my first time, I'm like, oh, I was scared to death.
So you got thrown into it.
Yes, she literally asked me, she was like, I would love for you to come over here and cover this slam. I know you, I like what you're doing. And so, of course, I wasn't going to say no. I'm like, this can open me up to a whole different networking opportunity.
Right, exactly.
I met Nate because of that. I met Nick because of that. Zeta because of that. You because of that. I met so many people.
You got some dope photos of me.
Yeah.
You got some dope photos.
So I'm always, I always had a love for taking pictures, for doing videos, but just never had a platform to do it on. And then when she gave that opportunity, literally I've met the majority of people that I know in the poetry community because of Doo-Wop Cincinnati Poetry Slam. So I mean, shout out to Doo-Wop. If it wasn't for her,
shout out to Doo-Wop.
I wouldn't be covering slams. So, and I've had other people ask me about, covering. Galaxy was like, if I do a slam again, we need to get you up to Detroit. I need you to cover the slam. So I'm like, cool. I ain't gonna say no to that. So, I'm always looking to grow. I'm never gonna turn down an opportunity. And because of her, she really played an intricate part in this whole mic drop with B. Anderson thing. So
nice.
Yeah, so good question.
Dang, I'm good at the question.
Yeah, you are.
I might not be bad at that. I might be a little weird at the answers, but I'm good at the question.
Nah. You've been good though. You've been good. I feel like we covered a lot of things. Do you feel like how you feel about what we've covered during this interview?
Yeah, I think yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well.
I'm excited.
Well. I'm always looking whenever you decide to drop that project, I'm gonna have you right back here again, so that we can
tap in,
more in depth. We're gonna dive deep, but hey, that's it. That's all.
Hey, yay!
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. It's a wrap. I'm 30 now. I'm grown. Put some respect on my name.
Yo, this is the mic drop with B. Anderson, and we are out.